Fibermaxxing. Call it what you want, but the bottom line is we do need more fiber. So if it helps us rethink how much we get, why it matters, and how to do it safely, which I'll walk you through as we talk about this trend, maybe it's a trend worth paying attention to. We experience 1,000 waking minutes on average every day. How are you spending yours? I'm Dr. Wendy Bazilian, and you're listening to 1,000 Waking Minutes. I can't wait to connect with you here with practical ways to eat well, move daily, and be healthy, to optimize every waking minute you live for a happier, healthier life. Thank you for sharing some of your waking minutes with me today. Let's get started.
I'm saying yes to better days, yes. I'm on my way, yes. It's gonna be okay, yeah.
Hello and welcome to 1,000 Waking Minutes. I'm Dr. Wendy Bazilian, and I'm so glad you're joining me today. Every day we get around 1,000 waking minutes, and it's how we use them in our moments, our meal to meal, our walks, and all our choices that add up to a well-lived life. Today I'm going to be talking about a trend, and it's called fibermaxxing. It's something that's getting new attention but has deep roots in nutrition and health. Fiber. Specifically, this trend, fibermaxxing, it sounds like a made-up marketing term, and it sort of is just a made-up term. It's got two X's, fibermaxxing, but it's caught on in wellness spaces. It's caught on in clinical environments. It's caught on in TikTok and Instagram spaces, and also in the fitness realm as well. So have you heard of it? Fibermaxxing? Well, it's sort of like the return of certain fashion statements, wide leg pants, or maybe even sourdough starter, as if that's new. But in the pandemic, it became new and trendy, and there were new takes on it. Things that are long established, but certainly and especially start reappearing every few years, especially those things that have been around a long time. And they're discovered with fresh new eyes or a new perspective. But in this case, it's fiber. It's not new, it's not flashy, and suddenly it's back in the spotlight and it's getting a lot of attention. So maybe you've noticed it also. It's all over social media. It's on supplement labels now. Maybe you've been hearing about it, chatting with friends over the dinner table. People who have started really trying to go aggressively toward the fiber goals. They're stacking their fiber, chia, psyllium, oats, all together, meal after meal after meal. Almost like it's like the next protein craze if we could have another mega trend. My clients are talking about it. The magazine stories are covering it. Dietitians are talking about it. And yes, some cereal boxes are even getting bold again in their fiber claims. But speaking of cereal, I brought that up in specific because I wanted to share a story that I've shared probably before, even on the podcast, certainly many times over the years. And it's about cereal. Uncle Sam cereal, which is still a cereal that's on the market today. But in the early 2000s, so almost a century after it had originated. I can't remember the exact date when it started. I used to know that number. But after a century of being in production, Uncle Sam's cereal advertised itself on the box as a natural laxative. The word laxative was right there on the box. Euphemistically, of course, they were talking about fiber, and they were talking about digestive health and helping our gut move. We've been seeking fiber, but these days, fiber is the euphemism for maybe laxative or for heart health or other reasons as well. But would you want the word laxative at the breakfast table? I don't think so. So you won't find laxative on food products anymore, to my knowledge anyway. But you will definitely see that word fiber. Those are things of different times for sure. But it's a reminder that we've been talking about fiber for over 100 years. What's changing now is how we talk about it, and maybe even how we feel about it. And of course, there's lots of science involved. So, is this fiber maxing trend worth our attention? Is it helpful? Is it hype? Is it a little of both? So, when we get into what fiber maxing really is and why the timing, why right now, I like to think about it as how foods function, functional foods or better for you foods. And of course, how do you make it work within your 1000 waking minutes? So, what is it and what it is not? Let's think about that for a second. First thing first, fiber maxing is not a scientific term. You will not find fiber maxing in any medical journal or in any nutrition guidelines of peer reviewed literature. It's a cultural phrase, and it's part of the mix that social media has garnered attention, but it is a little bit of social media meets science. And the idea is pretty simple: get more fiber. But lately it's become competitive. And those of you who have listened before know how I feel about that. We talked about raw dogging on planes and the competitive nature of being mindful. But people who are maxing out their fiber intake grams or stacking them, layering their powders and chasing the numbers, their goals for the day, and sort of bragging rights about how they're going about it. Looking for more fiber in the diet? I guess that's progress, because the reality is Americans aren't getting enough. In fact, most of us are falling short. According to the Dietary Guidelines for Americans, over 90% of women and 97% of men don't get the daily recommendation of fiber. And it has been confirmed that about only 6% of us as a American population actually meet the daily goals. So yes, we do need more fiber, but how you get there matters too. Because as with many trends, the pendulum swings. It swings from not enough to too much or too fast, as the case may be with fiber. So what does the science say? Here's what's real and relevant to this story. In terms of longevity and disease risk, a 2023 systematic review and meta-analysis looked at more than 40 studies, and it was published in Food and Function, if you're interested in looking that up. And the researchers found that higher fiber intake was associated with lower risk of dying from any cause, and especially from heart disease and cancer. So in plain terminology, people who eat more fiber tend to live longer and healthier lives. What does fiber say about, what does the relationship of fiber and the research say about fiber and cardiometabolic health? So another large umbrella meta-analysis, so this is an umbrella analysis, is an analysis of analyses, of meta-analyses, published in 2022 in the Frontiers in Nutrition journal, examined how fiber influences blood sugar, cholesterol, and blood pressure, so cardiometabolic markers. And they found measurable improvements across populations. So fiber doesn't just keep things moving, that so-called laxative effect, but it does help also stabilize what's happening inside in our blood vessels, inside our gut. It's sort of like a built-in traffic controller of sorts for your metabolism. It can slow down the rush, it can smooth the flow, and it can help things keep steady and you satisfied. And finally, what about the relationship of fiber to mental health and the gut-brain connection? You may have heard about the gut-brain axis. So newer research, a 2024 systematic review and meta-analysis that was published in Food and Function, saw a link between fiber intake and mental well-being. And it was likely through this gut-brain axis. This review focused on children and adolescents with a sample size of over 4,600, with observational data showing a 49% lower odds of depression symptoms in higher fiber consumers. The adult intervention evidence is still emerging in this space. But in general, People with higher fiber diets often report better mood and resilience. Isn't that interesting? So it's not magic, but it's one more reminder that what's happening in the gut feeling of sorts, doesn't just stay in the gut. It has impact. So the evidence on fiber, soluble, insoluble fiber, is solid. The term fibermaxxing is a trendy term, but the science behind more fiber in the diet is real and it's long-standing. So I can get behind this trend with a few cautionary suggestions. So anyone who's gone from 5 grams a day, let's say you're eating 5 grams a day, to 40 overnight, would know that your body will start noticing that. And that gets into the how much, how fast, how much is enough, and what does maxing really mean? So this is where the nuance comes in. Research supports higher fiber intake, but not limitless fiber and not a lot of fiber all at one time. In fact, studies show benefits up to a point and then a plateau. The dietary guidelines for Americans recommends about 25 grams of fiber per day for women and about 38 grams per day for men. And that nets out to about 14 grams for every 1,000 calories consumed. So I think that's a good benchmark, about 14 grams of fiber for every 1,000 calories consumed. However, going from not zero, but a lower number to a high number, too much too soon can lead to bloating, discomfort, especially if your body is used to a low fiber diet. So it's really less about maxing and more about leveling. I like the idea of leveling up gradually and with intention. So thinking about this plateau and digestive adaptation over time, and some individuals who may be on a low fiber diet or may have irritable bowel syndrome or may have a flare up of diverticulitis, they don't want to be fiber maxing anyway. They need to be in the lower fiber bracket until they're given clearance and with guidance to consume fiber at the level that's appropriate for them. So a 2023 analysis in the Journal of Translational Medicine found a threshold effect of people who were living with diabetes and prediabetes, meaning that the benefits seem to level off around our recommendation. Surprise, surprise, around about 26 grams of fiber a day, according to one study. Not meaning that more would be bad, but it reminds us that the curve of benefit can flatten. So maxing doesn't mean limitless, but maybe how we allow our gut microbiome to catch up and adapt. And certainly an important tip if you are starting to increase your fiber from fruits and vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, beans, legumes, you want to hydrate adequately and increase the hydration as you're leveling up or increasing the fiber. So a simple place to start if you are interested in fiber leveling up, even though it doesn't sound as sexy or trendy as fiber maxing, but let's go with fiber maxing. If you're interested in increasing your fiber, is adding one more serving of fiber-rich food a day for a period of time, and then adding more incrementally as your body adjusts and adapts. A piece of fruit, some lentils, a tablespoon of chia, or a handful of walnuts. And then pay attention. Notice how you feel digestively, energetically. How's your energy? Even mentally, think about your mood. Is there an impact? You notice anything? Pause, have awareness, see where the real change starts to happen. And it definitely will. Fiber has so many positive links to our health. So how do you bring this trend into your life without turning it into another rule to follow? Well, number one, think food first. Seek your fiber in foods. I mentioned whole grains and beans and veggies and fruits, nuts and seeds. Those are your foundation. Think of oatmeal, the overnight oats that are still trendy, a salad with beans or lentils, roasted vegetables, whole grains like quinoa or whole grain pastas. Fiber supplements can help fill a gap. They may be something to add to a fiber-rich food first diet, but they don't replace the synergy, the matrix, the many nutrients in real food. Number 2, increase gradually and hydrate. I can't emphasize this enough. If you go from 10 grams, 40 overnight, you will feel it, and I don't mean in a good way. Add a little more each week. Pay attention. Add around 3 to 5 grams every few days, a plus up of 3 to 5 grams. And drink plenty of water so your gut can process and keep up. It's adjusting too. So maybe sprinkling chia or flax on your yogurt, or adding an apple, or a handful of some snap peas or fiber-rich vegetables into your snack routine. It's about consistency and routine, and give your body time to adapt. Number 3, mix it up. Don't just focus on one type of fiber. Definitely don't just focus just on a supplement. But different fibers do different jobs. So different foods have insoluble and soluble fiber, but even within them, mix it up. Some feed beneficial bacteria. Some help with the lowering of cholesterol. Some help steady your blood sugar. Some help with the motility or movement and bulking within your digestive system. So variety, the spice of life, but variety wins here. Think oatmeal and berries together, paired, or mashed avocado, which is a good source of fiber on whole grain toast. Think lentil soup or chili or different kinds of soups and stews. Add chia oil or chia seeds into a smoothie, or bean dips at snacks, maybe instead of ranch dressing. And add those colorful vegetables and some walnuts at dinner. So a mix of soluble and insoluble fibers can help balance your digestive system and your metabolic health. And finally, number 4, pay attention to how you feel. This may seem obvious, but being more regular is good. But also notice your energy, your focus, and your mood. When you add more fiber-rich food, see if you notice steadier energy between meals or easier digestion over time. Fiber is really like the quiet hero. It sort of exists in the background in how we function each day. And maybe that's why it's having a comeback moment, because, we've had so many flashy trends. Maybe we're ready for something that works, that's real, and that can last. So here's my take. Fibermaxxing, it might sound like the latest shiny trend, and yes, it's marketing language and not science. But in this case, the buzz about it isn't entirely misplaced. Given how far below the recommendations most people are, a little extra attention to fiber isn't such a bad thing. More isn't automatically better, especially not all at once, but incrementally, that 3 to 5 grams increase every several days, and pay attention to how do you feel. That's where the real win comes in, from the small, steady shifts up. Swapping in whole grains and fiber-rich foods, adding that apple or more beans into the mix, and keeping a balance that your body feels good about and you can live with. So not maxing out. It's about showing up for your body and being aware of fiber. So when you hear the term fibermaxxing, you can maybe smile aloud, or smile internally. Maybe not so much so fast, but I get the idea and I'm on board. If it inspires a positive step in the right direction, I'll take it. And maybe we skip the hype and we go for balance and the long game, as you know. So that's my take on fibermaxxing. Thank you for sharing a few of your waking minutes with me today as we explored the power of fiber and the real meaning behind this trend. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it. Leave a kind comment or tell a friend. You can find me at wendybazilian.com. And please join at Instagram at 1000 Waking Minutes. I'm Wendy Bazilian, your host and partner on this journey of life. And you've been listening to 1000 Waking Minutes. Until next time, be well. Thank you for tuning in to 1000 Waking Minutes. A huge thank you to our amazing collaborators, including our production and marketing teams, and Gabriela Escalante in particular. To the ultra-talented Beza for my theme music, my lifelong friend and artist, Pearl Price Photography and Design, to Daniel Ballantyne, Jen Nguyen, Joanna Powell, and of course my family, and everyone working tirelessly behind the scenes. And to you, our valued listeners, I so appreciate your support. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider leaving a comment, writing a review, and giving 1000 Waking Minutes, that's us, a 5-star rating. And please hit subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you enjoy your podcasts. Please follow and stay connected at wendybazilian.com. And don't forget to share with your friends. Your support helps us grow and bring you more great content. Until next time, find some simple opportunities to optimize those 1000 waking minutes each day.
I'm saying yes to better days, yes. I'm all